नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयाम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती स्वामिने सरस्वतीति नामिने। नमस्ते वार्षभानवि श्रीदयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिद श्रीरूप गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे उपानुग विरुद्ध सिद्धांत ध्वांत हारिणे। नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलंब रसाम्भोदे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौर आविर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्त रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone, and we did till 11 last week, which was the sixth incarnation, which was Dattatreya, son of Atri, Dattatreya. Yeah, and who was he the spiritual master of? He was the spiritual master of Alarka, Prahlada, Yadu, Hayahaya, etc. So today we'll do text 12. So here, Suta Goswami is giving you the incarnations of Leela and Shaktavesh and everything mixed. Yeah, so there is a little bit of overlap also. But if you take it separately, there is a different category for Shaktavesh and different for Leela. And there are some which is both Leela and Shaktavesh, like Lord Parashuram. He's Leela as well as Shaktavesh. Okay, so someone repeat after me. Tata Saptama Akutyam.
Tata Saptam Akutyayam.
Rucheryajnyo Bhyajayata.
Rucheryagno Bhajayata.
Sayamadhyai Suraganer.
Sa Yamadhe Suraganer.
Apasvayam Bhuvantaram.
Apatsvayam Bhuvantaram.
The seventh incarnation was Yajna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of the Swayambhuva Manu and was assisted by devatas such as his son Yama. So Yajna is also what do you call? He is also the Yuga avatar. Because if you remember, when Garga Muni gave during the name giving ceremony of Krishna and Balaram, he said that he told Nanda Maharaj that your son has appeared in the previous yugas. He was Shweta, Rakta, now he is Krishna, and then he will be Pita, yellow, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Shweta, Rakta in the Treta Yuga is Yajna, son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. The administrative posts occupied by the devatas for maintaining the regulations of the material world are offered to the highly elevated pious living beings. When there is a scarcity of such pious living beings, the Lord incarnates himself as Brahma, Prajapati, Indra, etc. and takes up the charge. During the period of Swayambhuva Manu, the present period is Vaivasvata Manu. Swayambhuva Manu was the first. There was no suitable living being who could occupy the post of Indra, the king of the Indralok heaven planet. The Lord himself at that time became Indra, assisted by his own sons like Yama and other devatas. Lord Yajna ruled the administration of the universal affairs. So, Yajna over here means Indra is a post, right? Indra is not the name. Indra is a post. So here the Lord. So normally very highly qualified jivas take the posts of Lord Brahma, Indra, and other devatas. But when there is no such person, then the Lord himself takes the post of Lord Brahma or Indra. So here, that's what they're saying, that during this Manu, there was no one. So the Lord occupied the post of Indra. And what was the name? Yajna. Right? And assisted by his own sons like Yama and the demigods. He administrated the universal affairs. Then we move to the next one. Ashtama, 8th. Ashtame meru devyam tu. Repeat.
Ashtame meru divyam tu.
Nabhirjata urukramaha.
Nabhirjata urukramaha.
Darshayan vartma dhiranam.
Darshayan vartma dhiranam.
Sarvashrama namaskritam.
Sarvashrama namaskritam.
Sarva ashrama, all ashrams honored him, right? Urukrama is very, very powerful, like Ugra, Urukrama Narsimha Dev, Ugra Narsimha Dev, right? Urukrama means very powerful. So the 8th incarnation was King Rishabh, son of King Nabhi and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The society of human beings is naturally divided into 8 by orders and statuses of life, Varna ashrams, right? 4 divisions of occupations and 4 divisions of cultural advancement. The intelligent class, so what is this? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And the ashramas are brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Right. Out of these, the renounced order, one sec. Out of these, the renounced order of life or the order of sannyas is considered the highest of all. And a sannyasi is constitutionally the spiritual master of all the orders and divisions. In the sannyas order, also, there are 4 stages of upliftment towards perfection. So these stages are Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parivrajakaacharya, and Paramahamsa. So when we do the Prema Dhvani, we say Parivrajacharya, Shri is Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, right? So this Paramahamsa stage of life is the highest, which is not possible in the Kali Yuga. So normally you don't. So the order of life is respected by others. Maharaj Rishabh, the son of King Nabhi and Meru Devi, was an incarnation of the Lord, and he instructed his sons to follow the path of perfection by tapasya, which sanctifies one's existence and enables one to attain the stage of spiritual happiness, which is eternal and ever increasing. Every living being is searching after happiness, but no one knows where eternal and unlimited happiness is obtainable. Foolish men seek after material sense pleasure as a substitute for real happiness. But such foolish men forget that temporary so-called happiness derived from sense pleasures is also enjoyed by dogs and hawks. So this material pleasure is not only temporary with this lifetime, even within this lifetime, if you see, there was some happiness you had many years ago, which now it doesn't exist. Right? So even within our lifetime itself, there are many material happinesses which were temporary. According to our age and according to our health also, material happinesses differ. When we were younger, when we were our teens and our 20s and all, our material happiness was totally different. Yeah, but now, I mean, I remember for me, the greatest happiness would be to go and sit in that giant wheel. Now I go and I'm like, my God, that's the most distressful thing for me. I feel I'm going to get a heart attack. So that temporary happiness was only limited to that age. So even if we think that material pleasure, it's not even permanent in this lifetime. Forget about the next life. Even in this lifetime, maybe what I did last year, I'm not able to do this year. For some people, happiness would be good health. For others, happiness would be more money. Others, it would be more education. But then what? After you achieve it, then what? Like a child when he goes to a toy shop, so happy to get that toy of his choice. Once he comes home and he plays with it 2 days, 3 days, 4th day, gone. Then he's like, Mama, can you buy me something else? Again, for him also, that was temporary happiness. So therefore, what is permanent happiness is something we must all ponder and think. In every species of life, including the human form of life, such happiness is immensely obtainable. There are so many different avenues of happiness, especially now with technology. The human form of life, however, is not meant for such cheap happiness. The human life is meant for attaining eternal and unlimited happiness by spiritual realization. Like we have a friend over here who loves traveling. Wife also loves traveling. He also loves traveling. But he loves going to all the dhams, all the different temples and different religious places in India. But she likes only traveling to Europe and USA. So even traveling, there are 2 different things, right? You can make it spiritual, and even if you want to go abroad, like we have a very sweet devotee family over here. Every year they take their children somewhere in Europe or America. They go to different temples, ISKCON temples all over the world to show their children not only the world, but also the different temples. So there are 2 kinds of happiness. Like even travel, can be dovetailed into spiritual, in Krishna consciousness. Correct? So this spiritual realization is obtained by tapasya, or undergoing voluntarily the path of penance and abstinence from material pleasure. So there is one persistence and there is one abstinence. So how do we, what is self-control? What is the definition of self-control? Self-control has two aspects. One is perseverance. You control, you have the discipline to persevere, and you also have the will or the strength to abstain. Abstinence and perseverance are two facets of self-control. Correct? If you don't control, supposing I have a drug addiction, I have to either control or seek help so that I can control this addiction. That's an extreme. Let's say I'm addicted to sweets. I love sweets. I have to have sweets, but I have diabetes. So unless and until I don't abstain, I cannot help myself. So I have to persevere. So if you have a goal in life, let's say students, if they have a goal in life that I need to get into this university, I have this career, I have this goal in life, they must abstain from too much of enjoyment and they must persevere by studying. So they must have that a little bit of self-control. So this is a definition of self-control. This spiritual realization is obtained by tapasya, or undergoing voluntarily the path of penance and abstinence. Those who have been trained for abstinence in material pleasures are called dhira, or men undisturbed by the senses. Only these dhiras can accept the orders of the sannyas, and they can gradually rise to the status of the Paramahamsa, which is adored by all members. King Rishabh propagated this mission, and at the last stage, he became completely aloof from the material bodily needs, which is a rare stage not to be imitated by foolish men, but to be worshipped by all. So, there are followers, there are people who worship Rishabdev. And who are they? Who worships Lord Rishabdev? Any idea? Jains. Jainism is worshipping Lord Rishabh. But if you read in Srimad Bhagavatam, I think 6th or 7th canto, 6th canto, Srila Prabhupada tells very clearly in the purport that Rishabdev's activities cannot be imitated. Like he mentions here also. So artificially renouncing and giving up material pleasure and trying to abstain is only half the job. So one thing is you abstain, but you latch on to something higher taste, right? So if you are holding Maya's hand, but you want to hold Krishna's hand, it's not enough that you leave Maya's hand. And then what do? Somewhere you'll be floating and supposing say you are falling from the sky and then you have a parachute and on the parachute is written Maya. You say, no, I don't want Maya, I'll cut. You don't have any security, right? I mean, you will fall. So what is the other thing you need to do? If you're leaving Maya's hand, you need to hold Krishna's hand. So Jainism does not do that. If you're leaving material pleasures, if there is abstinence, there also has to be some activity which will keep you going, right? If you say, I want to lose weight, I want to diet. So is it enough that you only exercise, Neha? No, you need nutrition, right? It's both. And also you need abstinence, right? You can't have fried food and fast food and sweets and everything and still say that, okay, I'm not losing weight. There has to be abstinence, but you can't starve yourself also. So here you're starving yourself of spirituality by only abstaining. So Krishna consciousness, therefore bhakti is a higher stage. Why? Because we are engaging our senses. We're not depriving our senses. Yeah, we're not, when we deprive our senses, we become even more disturbed because we have our past conditioning. We have our samskaras. We have samskaras in this lifetime from birth also. We have some conditioning, right? All of us come from different backgrounds, different households. So we have our own, in our own parents' house, we had a routine. We had a routine, we had our own, the way we, each day, the way we celebrate festivals, the way what do we do during holidays? Each of us have. The same way, we also have conditioning of how we think, how we react, what is our opinion about a few things, which changes with the age and experience, but still we have our conditioning, right? We also bring our past conditioning from our previous lifetimes, which come with us, which has given us this kind of body and this kind of parents and neighbors and friends. So just abstinence will disturb senses. So not only abstinence, but bhakti gives you some service, gives you something to do. So therefore, you do not get, you do not come back to what you want, what you were used to do. So, okay, so that's Rishabdev. Then we go to the next one. Okay, please repeat. Rishibhiryachito bheje. Someone? Yes, go ahead. Whoever unmuted. Nita Mataji, go on.
Yeah. Rishibhiryachito bheje
Navavam parthivam vapuhu.
Navavam paritvam vapu
Dugde mam oshadhir vipras.
Tuddhe mam oshadhir vipras
Tenayam sa ushattamaha.
Tenayam sa utsattamaha.
O Brahmanas, in the 9th incarnation, the Lord prayed for by sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produce, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive. So Prithu Maharaj is also an example for anyone in the Navavidha Bhakti. Anyone knows? So these are things you should remember. So examples. So let's do from the beginning. Shravanam example.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj. Then Kirtanam example.
Prahlad Maharaj. No.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Kirtanam.
Sukadev Goswami.
Shukdev Goswami. Then Smaranam. Prahlad
Lakshmi.
Maharaj.
Paranam.
Prahlad Maharaj. You all are going one step ahead. Smaranam is Prahlad Maharaj. Then Archanam is Padasevanam is Lakshmi. Veji. Padasevanam is Lakshmi Devi. Archanam is elaborate deity service, which is Prithu Maharaj. Yeah. And then Vandanam. Akrura. When he was sent by Kamsa to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, so he offered prayers. He was the biggest example. That's a very, very nice chapter. Beautiful chapter. Okay, after Vandanam is Dasyam.
Hanuman.
Yes. Sakhyam.
Arjun.
And Atma Nivedanam. Bali Maharaj. Yeah. Okay, let's read the purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Before the advent of King Prithu,
Hare
there
Krishna.
was havoc. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I'll just switch on my mobile. I have to leave, but my mobile पे attend करूँगी. I'll keep my.
Sure. Before the advent of King Prithu, there was great havoc of maladministration due to the vicious life of the previous king, the father of Maharaj Prithu. The Brahmanas, namely the sages and the Brahmanas, not only prayed for the Lord to come down, but also dethroned the previous king. It is a duty of the king to be pious and thus look after the all-round welfare of the citizens. Whenever there is some negligence on the part of the king in discharging his duty, the intelligence class of men must dethrone him. The intelligent class of men, however, do not occupy the royal throne because they have much more important duties for the welfare of the public. Instead of occupying the royal throne, they prayed for the incarnation of the Lord, and the Lord came as Maharaj Prithu. Real intelligent men or qualified Brahmanas never aspire for political posts. Maharaj Prithu excavated many produces from the earth, and thus not only did the citizens become happy to have such a good king, but the complete sight of the earth also became beautiful and attractive. So Maharaj Prithu, his father, was very, very demonic. So therefore Mother Earth stopped giving the fruits, the seeds. So there was nothing, it was barren land. There was nothing growing, there was nothing happening, and she was not even giving her the gems, her wealth. So seeing that the king was demonic, now the Brahmanas that time had so much power that just by mantra, they all chanted mantras and the king died. Then they took his bones and churned it and invoked the Lord's presence, and Maharaj Prithu was born. Prithu came with his wife, Lakshmi Devi also came. And then he worshipped the Lord. He worshipped the Lord. He being the Lord also worshipped the Lord. Now again, this is a Shakti-Avesh avatar. Worship the Lord. And then Mother Earth started blooming. She gave even more than ever before. And then he managed and then handed over to his sons and then went back. So very important of how to use, how a person in power, the king or the leader of a country should be spiritual, should be a spiritual leader. Then only the country can progress. Now we are seeing a little bit of that in India now. I don't know whether you all agree with me or not, but I mean, I'm not so much in political, but there has been some progress. Okay, next one. Rupam sajagre matsyam.
Rupam sajagre matsyam.
Chakshushodadi samplave.
Chakshudadi ave.
Navya ropyo mahimayam.
Navya rupyo mahimayam.
Apadvaivasvatam manum.
Apadvaivasvatam manum.
Okay, can someone read the translation, please?
When there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshusha Manu and the whole
Chakshushamanu, yes. Yeah.
Chakshusha Manu and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivasvata Manu, keeping him up on a boat.
Yes. So basically, this is the Matsya avatar. I am sure you all are aware with the story. So, yes, no? Aware, not aware? Aware, right? Yeah. So, Matsya Avatar, what happens is there is a change of Manu. So, King Satravata was instructed by the Lord, who came in the form of a fish. And then he said that in inundation, you must keep the boat, right? And then he becomes the Manu, the next. So he becomes Vaivasvata Manu, which is ours now. He becomes Vaivasvata. So this is Chakshusha Manu is the 6th Manvantara. And now is the 7th. So we'll just read the purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. According to Sripad Sridhar Swami, the original commentator of the Bhagavatam, there is not always a devastation after the change of every Manu. And yet, this inundation after the period of Chakshusha Manu took place in order to show some wonders to Satyavrata, King Satyavrata. But Sri Jiva Goswami has given definite proofs from authoritative scriptures like Vishnu Dharmottara and Markandeya Puran and Harivamsha that there is always a devastation at the end of each and every month. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has also supported Srila Jiva Goswami, and he, Sri Chakravarti, has also quoted from Bhagavatamrita. This is Laghu Bhagavatamrita, yeah, about this inundation after each Manu. Apart from this, the Lord, in order to show special favor to Satyavrata, a devotee of the Lord, in this particular period, incarnated himself. So, the Matsya Avatar, I'm just looking at my notes, I'm trying to find. So in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami talks about that every end of the Manvantara, there is a small inundation. There is a final inundation at the end of Brahma's life. There is a inundation at half time of Brahma's life. But there is also this inundation update. So at the end of the 6th Manvantara, before the start of the 7th, there is a Matsya, right? So, yeah, end of Chakshusha Manu. King Satyavrata then, he does not die, right? At the end of this Chakshusha Manu, which is the 6th Manvantara, King Satyavrata, along with Matsya and other people in the fish, they get past the inundation, and he becomes Vaivasvata Manu. King Satyavrata from Chakshusha, with the help of Matsya Avatar, becomes Vaivasvata Manu, who is the Manu for our Manvantara. So, yeah, so where is it? So it is said that according to Laghu Bhagavatamrita, the earth becomes the form of a boat. So it's not just, so even though Matsya Avatar said keep a boat ready, Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi, takes the form of a boat. And then the boat carrying the seeds of every species and the 7 rishis, Sapta rishis, and the wife of Matsya Dev is also accompanying him. They get past inundation. Yeah, so that is Matsya Avatar we're talking about. Then comes Sura Suranam Udadhim.
Sura Suranam Udadhim.
Matnatam Mandarachalam.
Matnatam Mandarachalam.
Dadre Kamatharupena.
Dadre Kamatharupena.
Prishtha Ekadashe Vibhuhu.
Prishta Ekadashe Vibhuhu.
Yes, so the 11th incarnation of the Lord is, what avatar is this? The tortoise, whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandaranchal hill.
Kurma.
Yes, correct. And which being used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe. Purport: once both the atheists and the theists were engaged in producing nectar from the sea, so that all of them could become deathless by drinking it. At that time, the Mandarachal hill was used as the churning rod, and the shell of the Lord Kurma, the incarnation of the Lord, became the resting place of the pivot of the hill in the sea water. So this Leela has so many avatars in it, right? So the Lord comes as so many avatars in just one Leela. If you all remember the story, he comes as Kurmadev to form the pivot. Yeah. Then he comes as Lord Ajita to hold the mountain steady. Then he comes as Vishnu also to head all the devatas by holding the tail. Then when it is churned, he comes out as holding the pot of nectar. Who comes out?
Mohini.
No. Who comes out holding the pot? Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari, the Lord of Ayurveda, the Lord of medicine.
Health.
And then
The
the
Mohini.
Lord comes as Mohini Murti and takes the nectar to distribute. There's so many avatars in just one Leela. So this is a very, very interesting Leela when we read it. It's so interesting because so many things happen. Lord Shiva also becomes Neelakant, and then so many things come out of the, the churning of the ocean, and how the demons are tricked by Vishnu. Very beautiful pastime. Very beautiful Leela. Okay, here comes Dhanvantaram Dwadashamam.
Danvantram Dvadashamam.
Trayodashamam evacha
Trayodashama evacha.
apayayat suran anyan
Apayayat suran anyan.
mohinya mohayan striya.
Mohenya mohanan striya.
So the previous one was 11th, Ekadasham. So this is Dwadasham. The 12th one is Dhanvantari, and Trayodasham, 13th one is Mohini Murti. Yeah. So in the 12th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th, he allured the atheists by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink, Mohini Murti. And then Chaturdasham Narasimham.
Chaturdasham Narsingham
Bhibraddaityendra Murjitam
Vipradatyendra
Dadara
Urjitam
Karajair Ura
Dadar Karjer Urva
Erakam Katakrit Yatha.
Erakam Katkrityatha.
Yes. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narsimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane. So this is the Nashinga avatar. He came for Prahlad Maharaj. Right? Then Panchadasham Vamanakam
Panchadashayam Vamanakam
Kritvagad Advaram Bale
Kritvagad Advaram Bhale
Padatrayam Yachamanaha
Padatrayam Yacha Manaya
Pratyaditsu Striptishtapam.
Pratyadishtustri Pistapam.
Wow, that was quite a mouthful. Tongue twister. Translation. In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, Vamanadev, and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Bali. Although at heart he was willing to regain the kingdom of the 3 planetary systems, he simply asked for a donation of 3 steps of land. The Almighty God can bestow upon anyone the kingdom of the universe from a very small beginning, and similarly, he can take away the kingdom of the universe on the plea of begging a small piece of land. So when the Lord gives, 2 hands are not enough to collect. When the Lord takes away also, you cannot hold it with 2 hands. When he wants to give, he'll give. When he wants to take away, he'll take away. Depending on what is best for your spiritual advancement. Yes. So this Vamandev avatar, 3 steps of land. And do you all know the name of that form when he takes the 3 steps? So he's called Vamana because he's the dwarf Brahman. Dwarf as in a child. And because he took 3 steps, he's called Trivikrama. 1, 2, 3. Trivikrama. And when he took the 2nd step, he pierced the material covering, and the Viraja river came into the material world as Ganga Devi. Yes. So she's Viraja outside. She comes to the heavenly planets as Mandakini. When she comes down to us, she is called Ganga. She has so many names, right? So washing the feet, the lotus feet of the Lord, she comes. So therefore, she is very, very pious and very potent. Okay. Avatare Shodashame.
Avatare Shodashame.
Pashyan Brahma Druho Nripan.
Pashyan Brahma Druho Nripan.
Trisapta Kritava Kupito.
Trisapva Kritava Kupito.
Nikshatra Makaron Mahim.
Nikshatran Akaron Mahim.
Okay, so this incarnation of the Lord, what did he do? He killed the Nripan, kingly order, thrice 7 times, which is 21 times. So who is he? Bhrigupati. Who is Bhrigupati? The 16th, yes, Parshuram. The 16th incarnation of the Lord as Bhrigupati, and highlighted the administrative class, Kshatriyas, 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas, the intelligent class. And Parshuram is still existing. I mean, he's still there. Why? Because he's waiting to train the Kalki avatar. The Kshatriyas, or the administrative class of men, are expected to rule the planet by the direction of the intelligent class of men, who give direction to the rulers in terms of the standard Shastras, or the books of revealed knowledge. The rulers carry on the administration according to that direction. Whenever there is disobedience on the part of the Kshatriyas, or the administrative class, against the orders of the learned and the intelligent Brahmanas, the administrators are removed by force from the posts, and arrangement is made for better administration. So which other avatar did we just hear about, where the Brahmanas removed and asked the Lord to come? Prithu Maharaj, right? His father was very demonic, so the Brahmanas, through their mantras, killed him, removed him, and asked the Lord to come as Prithu, Lord King Prithu. Here, the Lord took the form, was born, Bhrigupati, Parshuram was born as a Kshatriya, and he killed the other Kshatriyas. Not just once, 7 into 21, that is 3 generations of the families he killed, and so much that there was a river of blood. It was so bad. He killed so many of them, so bad. So there was only two ways. 2 times he would not kill the king. His 2 conditions of not killing the king was that one, if the king was getting married. So if during the marriage he was getting married during that ceremony, that yagya, he would not kill the king because he's getting married. Second, if he was going to kill and any lady from the king's family would come in front of him naked, so he would turn away, he would not look, so he would not attack. That was the only 2 reasons why he would not kill the king. Otherwise, he had made sure that he would kill everyone. So therefore, King Dasharath, whenever he got the news that Parashuram was somewhere nearby, because he would not spare anyone, he was not sparing anyone, and there was no this thing that in Dasharath's family, Lord Ram is going to incarnate and come. There was nothing like that. So he would not spare anyone. Even though Dasharath was a fantastic king, his kingdom was, Ayodhya was impeccable. It was amazing. But still, he had taken a vow to kill, so he would just kill. So the plan which Dashrath always was that he had his spies everywhere. So whenever there was news that Lord Parshuram is nearby somewhere, he would immediately, there was always yagya nearby happening for him to quickly sit and get married. So therefore, Dashrath not only had 3 wives, he had multiple wives in every kingdom. He married many. Of course, these 3 were the main, especially Kaushalya was the main wife, whom he respected a lot. Forget about all these gossip where Kaikeyi was the favorite. Yes, she was for different reasons, but Kaushalya was too. But he had wives in every kingdom. Why? Because he wanted to avoid Lord Parshuram. So every time Lord Parshuram would come with the intention to kill King Dasharath, he would see that he was getting married. So he would turn and go away. And then he would be busy somewhere else. He would travel very vast. And then again, he would come back and he would say, oh, again, Dasharath is getting married. Okay, let's go again. And then when he met Lord Ram and his arrow was taken away, his bow was taken away, he recognized Lord Ram to be the Swa Amsha, because Lord Parshuram was the Shaktya-Vesha avatar, but Lord Ram was the Swa Amsha. So he recognized him, and he then was asked to go to Mandirachal, and he's still meditating there. You can't see him, but he's there, waiting to train Kalki avatar. Okay. Yes. Tata saptadashe jataha.
तथा सप्तदशे जातः
Satyavatyam parasharat.
सत्यवत्यां पराशरात्
Chakre vedataro shakha.
चक्रे वेदतरो शाखा
Rishtva pumsolpamedasaha.
दृष्ट्वा पुंसोऽल्पवेदशः.
Yes, this is for us. The Lord takes his avatar for us. Therefore, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashar Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Originally, the Veda is one, but Srila Vyasadeva divided the original Veda into 4, namely Sama, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva. And then again, they were explained in different branches of like Puranas and the Mahabharata. Vedic language and the subject matter are very difficult for ordinary men. They are understood by the highly intelligent and self-realized Brahmanas. But the present age of Kali is full of ignorant men. Yeah? Even those who are born in by a Brahmin father are in the present age no better than Shudras or the women. The twice-born men, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, are expected to undergo a cultural purificatory process known as samskaras. So samskaras start from the birth itself, right? Garbhadan, before birth actually, Garbhadan, then Jata Samskar, Namkaran, so many things. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are expected to undergo this, yes, but because of bad influence of the present age, the so-called members of the Brahmana and other high-order families are no longer highly cultured. They are called the Dvija Bandhus, or the friends and the family members of the twice born. But these Dvija Bandhus are classified amongst the Shudras and the women. Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas into various branches and sub-branches for the sake of the less intelligent classes like Dvija Bandhus, Shudras and women. And then when he had done all this, he was still not satisfied. He was very despondent, he was very depressed. And then Narad Muni comes and says that that's because you have not glorified the Lord enough. Because the Vedas contain about 95% or 97% of material knowledge. Only 3% is spiritual. So he says that you have not. So then he compiles the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is, you learn about this in 5th, 6th chapter, 5th, 6th, 7th, these 3 chapters. He talks about Narad Muni and Srila Vyasadev's conversation, then Narad Muni's past, and then Srila Vyasadeva actually coming to writing Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Nara Devattvamapanna
Nara Devatvam Apanna
Surakarya Chikirshaya
Surakarya Chikirshaya
Samudra Nigrahadini
Samudra Nigrahadini
Chakre Viryanyata Param.
Chakre Viryani Param.
In the 18th incarnation of the Lord, the Lord appeared as Lord Ram. And in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods, he exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravan, who was on the other side of the sea. No introduction needed, everybody knows who Lord Ram is, right? The personality of God, Sri Ram, Godhead Sri Ram, assumed the form of a human being. So, assumed the form doesn't become a human being, okay? He just assumed the form of a human being and appeared on the earth for the purpose of doing some pleasing work for the Devatas or the administrative personalities to maintain the order of the universe. Why? Because Ravan was breaking all orders. He was breaking all administrative work. He built a staircase to Swargalok. Anybody could just, all the demons could just walk up. And that's not how you go up to this upper planetary systems, right? Urdhvam gacchati sattvastha. Only those who are in sattvagun will go upwards. Madhyam tishtati rajasa. Adho gacchati tamasa. Downwards go tam. All these people in tamas were going through the staircase. He was atrocities all over. Everywhere he was just taking over. So therefore, he had to come. Sometimes great demons and atheists like Ravan and Hiranyakashipu and many others become very famous due to advancing material civilization by the help of material science and other activities with the spirit of challenging the established order of the Lord. For example, the attempt to fly to other planets by material means is a challenge to established order. The conditions of each and every planet are different, and different classes of human beings are accommodated there for particular purposes mentioned in the codes of the law. But, puffed up by tiny success in material advancement, sometimes the godless materialists challenge the existence of God. Ravan was one of them, and he wanted to deport ordinary men to the planet of Indra, heaven, by material means, without consideration of necessary qualifications. He wanted a staircase to be built up directly reaching the heavenly planet so that people might not be required to undergo the routine of pious work necessary to enter the planet. He also wanted to perform other acts against the established rules of the Lord. He even challenged the authority of Sri Ram, the personality of Godhead, and kidnapped his wife Sita. Of course, Lord Ram came to chastise this atheist, answering the prayer and desire of the Devatas. He therefore took up the challenge of Ravan, and the complete activity is the subject matter of Ramayana. Because Lord Ramachandra was the personality of Godhead, he exhibited superhuman activities which no human being, including the materially advanced Ravan, could perform. Any examples of superhuman activity Lord Ram performed? You all know Ramayana, so what are superhuman activities he performed?
Building the bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that superhuman? Floating rocks. What else? What else was superhuman?
He used he came to Ayodhya through I forgot the name. वो कुछ हंस वाला एरोप्लेन था ना, उससे
Pushpak
he came
Viman.
to पुष्पक विमान. Yeah, this is I
Pushpak
think
Viman was not superhuman. I mean, Raman was also using that. It was actually Kuber's Pushpak Viman,
पुष्पक.
and Ravan had taken it and he was flying in it, and he just used it. Superhuman activities. What are superhuman activities? What about lifting Lord Shiva's bow and breaking it, which no one could lift?
Yes.
Yeah. What about killing all those demons, which no one could kill? Right? It was superhuman, and he was such a small boy when Vishwamitra took him and went. Ram and Lakshman were teenagers, not even teenagers, younger than that, like 10, 11. And they killed such big demons, you know. And then walking all the way, living in the forest. Another, of course, you may not call it superhuman, but who can just give up their kingdom and say, okay, I'm going to the forest? If it wasn't Lord Ram, you think any other normal person can do that? Can't. We can't do that. It's not possible. And then fighting the whole army of Ravan. Yeah, and there was no one who could fight so many, but he did that. He not only showed strength, he also showed renunciation. And also the acharyas say that he was the most good looking. So good looking that even the sages in the forest used to get attracted to him and say, who is this good looking boy? Who's a boy? Ram, Sita, Lakshman were very young when they went to the forest. So young, they're so newly married. They were married when they were teenagers, and then they left. So young and so handsome and so good looking. That's why his name is Ram, because he gives pleasure. So many superhuman activities. Yeah. So, okay, so we'll stop here. What's the time? Yeah, we'll stop here. Any questions? And which verse are we on? Verse number 22 we finished.
21, 22 we finished.
22.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. We have just few more. And then comes the big one. 28 is the big one. Ete Chamsa, which is a very, very important one, which will be quoted and re-quoted by everyone, all the Maharajas. Srila Prabhupada quotes, Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of it. Laghu Bhagavatamrita is full of it. It is based on this verse, Ete Chamsa. The whole of Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami bases on Ete Chamsa Kalapumsa. So it's very, very important. Yes. So it's always nice to read the incarnations of the Lord. There is a Falastuti also at the end, which talks about what you get by chanting all these verses. Yeah. It says, whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. So that's your Falastuti.
Mataji, I was hearing a lecture sometime back on Bhagavatam, and in that lecture, the Guru Maharaj mentioned that you should hear Bhagavatam every day, and even if they are speaking Bhagavatam in Telugu or Bengali, you should hear it, because your soul is understanding the language. So it doesn't make a difference, which language you are hearing it. But if it is going on, you should sit. So I thought-
Yeah.
I found it
Absolutely.
very sweet.
Absolutely. Every day you should make it a habit, to switch on your YouTube. Abhi toh every temple is going live. We have a habit here of every day in the morning listening to Mayapur Bhagavatam. So we follow one verse by one verse. Now they are in the second canto. Every day in the morning, and for us it is even earlier because India time and Kada time is like 2.5 hours. So it's like 8 o'clock there is 6:30 here. So we switch it on, and we do our deity worship at Abhishek and all at 5:30. So we finish that, and bhoga de rahe hote hain, and then we sit down and we have our not breakfast, and we just sit down and we're just reading. So we listen to the lecture every day. That Bhagavatam sunna hi sunna.
Maybe Mataji, we should have 2 classes a week.
We should have 2 classes a week. I don't mind. I make it a point to attend at least, if not more, but at least one a day. Of course, mine is not limited to one a day, because I listen to that.
Not 2 classes a week. You should take 2 classes a week.
Me taking 2 classes a week.
Yeah.
Oh, I second that. On popular demand.
That's what she said. You take 2 classes a week.
Ah. Yeah, sure, we can do that. I'm okay with that. Okay, I mean, what more than being enthusiastic for Bhagavatam? You must listen. And now those who are initiated, one initiated Mataji has left. I think her network is bad.
Yeah.
She left. Yeah. You all should listen to one lecture a day. Anything, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. And you should listen to your Guru Maharaj every day.
Yes, Mataji, I do. Yeah.
You should. I mean, that should be a go-to. You must listen to your Guru Maharaj every day. That is something which is non-negotiable. You must. Try to listen to more than one class if possible, but start with one Bhagavatam class a day. You all can choose whichever temple you want to listen online, or you can choose whichever speaker you want to listen, and just don't have to see which canto are they doing. No need. Just get into it. Just choose whether it's Mayapur, whether it's Vrindavan. See which, every temple has its flavor. So you have to connect with that flavor. I mean, like I mean, I'm being honest, I don't like to listen from Vrindavan because there's a lot of distractions for me in Vrindavan. I like to listen to Mayapur because I like the way they teach. Most of them are Mayapur Institute teachers. I like the way they teach. So I listen to that. I listen to my Guru Maharaj. I attend my classes in the evening. I make sure that there is some class every day where I attend live. I've enrolled myself in I don't know how many classes. So it sometimes becomes difficult when it's okay to listen, but when like tomorrow I have 2 presentations. one for Bhakti Vaibhav and one for Gopal Champu. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Which one am I going to do? Anyway, let's see. So you must. So Neha, what you're saying is absolutely right. Of course, yes. If you're visiting a temple and they're speaking in some other language, it's etiquette to sit and listen. But you don't have to just randomly listen to some other language when there is Hindi, English going on. And of course, you can listen to Hindi as well if you like Hindi. So it is called Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya for what? Srila Prabhupada has made that routine for us, no? So follow it. And now with Gurugram temple so near, so y'all are planning to go weekly, daily? How is it? Weekly?
Yeah, weekly at least. Weekly at least.
Sunday program or any time during the week?
But they are doing a lot of classes now. They've started, and they've started, calling us also. So if there's a good lecture, then probably, we can register and go, depending upon what we like. But at least once a week, you have to go either for a Sunday program or anything else.
Yeah, very important. Otherwise, you become complacent, no? Then you'll always find some excuse not to go.
I've enrolled myself for Nectar of Instruction online. So
Oh, very nice.
Chaitanya Charan Prabhu Das Maharaj. I don't know
Oh,
if I'm Prabhu or Maharaj. So
no, Prabhu.
Prabhu. So he is doing it. So I'm doing it online with him. And then there's a quiz at the end of it. So it's nice.
So is this live or is it recorded?
It's recorded. So recorded works very well. Once you have time, you can just sit, hear a lecture and then give a test.
Yeah, but you can't ask questions.
Mostly, they've given you pre-notes. So once you hear it, and then the passing percentage is 80%. So if you've not heard it, you'll not be able to pass the quiz. So I think, it works for me. It might not work for anyone else, but it works for me. I am more attentive rather than, in any other class. So I like the format. Some other person might not like it.
I prefer somewhere where I can ask questions.
Yeah.
I prefer a live. That's nice. Very nice. Good. So we'll be asking you questions. We'll be asking you from Nectar of Instruction. You started or yet to start?
I've done 2 words. Prajalpa and Prajalpa and everything. Yeah. Text 2. So they've got 10 texts, no? So I've done 2 till text 2.
So you know what are the 6 things not good for bhakti? What are the 6?
Yeah. So I won't tell you the Sanskrit name because I've not memorized it, but it's basically not overeating and then getting involved into over endeavoring, right? And then Jan Sangha, then Prajalpa, and these are the 4. And then that would be 2 more is there. 2 more are there.
So it's Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpo Niyama Agraha. What's Niyama Agraha?
How's that?
Following rules.
You retain so much of things, I really can't.
Following rules and regulations, no?
Yeah.
Too much of rules and regulations, or Agraha is following, Agraha is not following.
Not
like
following.
you neglecting. Niyama Agraha. Niyama Agraha, Niyama Agraha.
Then I think we've done greed. Greed is also there. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. So you must apply it in your life.
Yeah, Prajalpa especially, right? So
all. So Atyahara is hoarding also. Sometimes we have clothes, but we want more clothes. Why is that? Is it for ourselves? No, it's because, I'm talking about myself. If I wear that sari once to that person's house, I will not wear that sari again to that person's house. Why? I mean, I can't do that now because most of my stuff is in storage in India. I just have a handful here. But still, I feel that, oh my God, what will they say? It's not for yourself, no? You want to impress others. So, Atyahar is not only overeating, it's also hoarding.
Yeah, hoarding of things.
Hoarding, buying more than necessary. So how can you do that? You probably cannot. If you have that tendency, can you suddenly one day just stop doing it? You'll probably not do it for a week, but then the next time you will do it. So you have to dovetail it. So initially, you must always dovetail things till it becomes a habit. So try to eat only prasadam. Even if you're overeating, overeat only prasadam. How much will you eat? Right? If you're hoarding, if you have a habit of hoarding, buy only devotional clothes. And only buy where you need to. So like that, prajalpa actually, yes, very important. We have a habit of gossiping. Like my mother-in-law says, I'm not gossiping, I'm just giving you information about the other persons, so that you know what's happening in their lives. You should know what's happening in all our relatives' life, I say, Amma, this is not information, this is gossip. And she gets very angry with me. She said, no, this is not. So I said, no, okay. So we should know the line, talking anything about others. So yeah, this nectar of instruction is very important in our lives. Very important for spiritual progress. Good. Very nice, Neha. Well done. Okay, anything else? Any other question? No, I think today is nothing philosophical now, right? No confusion. Yes, Vinita Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, I want to know how many sanskar we do from birth to death.
There are many samskars, but chote bahut hain, and then there are main ones which you must do. Smaller ones, it is not compulsory, but it's optional depending on your culture. So ek to is start from marriage, right? First samskar is marriage, if you want to start from that. Then comes Garbhadan, that is before the child is born. Garbhadan samskar is before conception, so that you get a sattvic child. Like, for example, Diti approached Kashyap Muni at the wrong time, in the evening. Kashyap Muni says, no, wait, this is not the right time. And she approached him and said, no, I need to have children now. So who were born? Asuras were born. He says, because you have approached me at the wrong time, so therefore you will have atheistic children. And Asuras were born. But whereas Aditi, Pakka, she followed her husband and Devatas were born. So Garbhadan Sanskar kind of ensures that you have a good putra. Putra is one who delivers the pitra. It's called putra. So then after the child is born, you do there is a ritual for cutting the umbilical cord, Nabhi. Then comes the Namkaran. Then Chudamani Samskar, which is shaving of the head. Then you have, after that, piercing the ear. Even for boys, no, karte hain. But आजकल तो नहीं करते हैं. आजकल तो कभी my niece daughter, she's 2 years now, उसका अभी तक किया नहीं. Australia में रहो, then you follow their customs. But it's very important. Piercing of ear, वो एक संस्कार होता है. Then Annaprashna samskar, that itself another samskar, when they start Anna first. Then of course is the Janeyu. Then before you start studying, wo ek samskar. So, and then after leaving brahmacharya, then once you before starting grihastha, so that comes marriage. Then of course children, marriage ke baad then seedha you go to vanaprastha. Nowadays nobody does vanaprastha. And then of course it's the antim sanskar. So these are important. So out of these, what are the most important? Antim sanskar is very important, which is not to be missed. Namkaran is of course important. Garbhadan samskar is important. And Chudakaran, shaving of hair. Why do we shave the hair? Anyone knows? Bacche ka mundan kyun karate hain? Anyone knows? So the karma from your past life comes in the form of your hair. When you shave, mundan jab karate hain, you remove the past karma and the child gets a better start. Everything doesn't go, but mota jata hai. So that is very important. Mundan karana is very important. So that the child has a better start in life. So hamare mein kya hai? We do it in Tirupati or we do it in the temple and then we offer it to the Lord. So we have our temple deities. So in my family, we do it first in Vaidishwaram and then we go to Tirupati. So twice. So it's very
Would the
important.
good karma also go away with that?
No, it comes, bad karma only comes at
Okay.
the hair. Bad karma comes as hair. So the child born with that, it's good to have a good fresh start. Yeah.
The child has a lot of hair, then it means there's a lot of bad karma.
We can't judge. So when we
I
read all
was
these
about to
things,
ask the same
we
thing.
shouldn't judge. When we read
Okay.
these things, we shouldn't judge. So another way of seeing it is,
Uh-huh.
when you do the mundan, the child has a better start, no?
Right. Mm.
And if you grow child's hair a little longer, then more karma goes.
No, it's
No.
the root.
Okay.
It's not the length of the hair, no? It's the root of the hair. It's not the length of the hair. How many hair follicles are there? उतना ही आएगा ना. तुम कितने भी लेंथ करो, फिर तो पूरा 15-20 साल तक बढ़ाते रहो, फिर उसके बाद मुंडन करो. शादी से पहले मुंडन करा रहे बच्चे का. Makes no sense.
इतना भी
तो
नहीं, साल भर में करा देंगे.
साल भर में कराते ही हैं. We normally do it before first year. साल भर में कराते ही. Before the first year कराते ही है ना. उससे पहले कहाँ कराते? छोटे बच्चे का कहाँ कराते हैं? वो तो किसी को सर पकड़ने ही नहीं देते हैं, because this head is so soft. कहाँ कराते? साल भर के पहले ही कराते. So that is important. Again, yagya at the wedding is very important. आजकल लोग court marriage कर लेते हैं या फिर church. अभी तो some people just exchange rings. No, yagya is very important. Yagya is very important for all these things. So these are very important. Namkaran, Annaprashanam, all these are very important. Very, very important. Then according to your own culture and your own, state and छोटे छोटे होते हैं. Every state differs. So वो कराते हैं. Before the child birth also वो कराते हैं ना. What do we call it? What do we say for Seemandam Veggie in Hindi?
गोद भराई माता
Godh bharai. Godh bharai. Godh bharai is also very important, so that the mother and the child has a smooth delivery. Godh bharai
They
karate
do
hain.
it.
Godh bharai sab mein
Simandam
karate hain.
and
Seemandam,
Balagap
हाँ.
also. And Balagap also. I think
Balagap
two things
also,
are there.
So that is important. वो कराते हैं. Garbhadan आजकल, it is they don't do it separately. Like for me, Garbhadan was done along with the wedding ceremony. Some very small thing. So it was done. But Garbhadan samskar in ISKCON is, you have to chant 50 rounds. So that's why devotee children are special. That soul which comes after that is special. These are all important things. Griha Pravesh, you know, during the life, after the wedding, you do Griha Pravesh. That is something which is not compulsory, but karate hai na, sab karate hai. Naya ghar lete hain Griha Pravesh. All these are optional. Big to samskars hona chahiye. Nowadays, Mataji, no one believes in it, na? अभी थोड़ा वेस्टर्नाइज हो गया है. What is the need? वो लोग क्या खुश नहीं है, वो लोग क्या ठीक नहीं है, उनका शादी, isn't their marriage going well? Is it really? Nowadays when people want to have live-in relationships, they don't want to even get married. So that was one of the doubts of Arjun, right? That Varna Shankara. So very important. Being traditional and following our culture is so important, because everything has a reason. Everything has a reason. Yeah. You're still in India or you've gone back?
No, Mataji, I'm in India. I'm going back on Friday.
Okay, anything else? Any other question? No? Okay, so let's chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thy God Pranande. Hari Hari Bol. All right, so see you next week, everyone. Whenever you find time, just go through those avatars. It's nice to read.